I just wanted to go over some things with you. I got a question on my blog post that had to do with the dress that I made called New Look 6301. The dress had a flared skirt. So today I'm going to go over how to hem or how to check the length for the skirts for the protruding derriere. Now that would be the protruding buttocks, so we're going to get that out in the open right now. But I want you to know that it's very important to understand that it cannot just always be lengthened at the bottom depending on what you're making. So what I wanted to show you is how I hem, or how I actually determine the lengths of my skirts. So I'm going to show you how to measure for the different lengths of your skirt. Two different ways: for the straight skirt or the fitted skirt that's like a pencil skirt, then the one for a flared skirt that kind of just hits you and then just keeps going. Now these are not for our flat bottom babes out there. These are for the more endowed, well, curvy girls. But I want to start off by showing you how to place your tape measure, your tapes on your body, which is what you see on me now. In the mirror you see that I have tape all around my body. I even have tape on my legs with black pins, and then the red is actually going to show you everything that you need to use to make the measurements for your body and fitting. I hope you're learning something. Okay, I'm going to change the video so that you can see the whole body. Now, all right, now we're going to talk about measuring from the lengths. We just talked about measuring around our body, circumferences, and how our body is shaped. We're going to talk about these lengths compared to the hem of your dress. Alright, so now when we're measuring the back or the side seam to where she wants her skirt to be, we have to make sure that we measure from the natural waistline. And then if we take to the side, we're going to use the t-shirt as her midpoint between her hip and her waist. Okay, so we could do it here. Where would this be as far as like, this would be like a yoke. Okay, so if this here was going to be a yoke skirt, then I would have to take into consideration from this area to this area here, and then from this area on down. So if she was going to have the pattern, the skirt go to her right at the small of her leg, then we have to take the side seam measurement. Okay, move over to your left. We'd have to take the side seam measurement from the waist down to her leg. So here would be 24 inches. Now that's 24 inches. So if we did the back, we have to allow the tape measure to hit on the waist, at the waist, let it hang to the hip line. Once it hits the hip line, then we allow it to hang all the way down, and I usually just use my hand like this to get to the size or the length that I want, which is the same as the front. So in order to get that, I even out, or I would use another ruler, but I even this out, and I have 25 and a half. Okay, so her side seam was 24, right? And then the back is 25 and a half. Now that means that I need to make sure that I add an extra amount on the back of the pattern. We look at the pattern, and this is not the right pattern for her, because this is just for visual purposes only. So we take the pattern, and it's in the center front. So if the center front hangs where she wanted to hang, when we go to the back, in order for it to remain the same, look what happens. It's actually coming at an angle. Let's look at that. Turn all the way around. It comes at an angle because it's flaring out so much in order to hit that bottom. And so this pattern is actually going to be probably about 3 inches too short in the back. So she's going to end up with a slope. Turn around. Yeah. So, by the way, this is my daughter. You can tell where she got it from. So basically what we have to do is, hold that. Alright, so let me show you how to do it by yourself. I'll show you how to do it by yourself. Okay, she's going to walk off camera and I'm going to show you how to do it by yourself. But I wanted you to see what you have to take in. I know that's right. Give me 5. So anyway, you have to take into consideration where your measurements are and what measurements you want to utilize for. Let me get this. Anyway, you want to keep that in mind for your own measurements. So I'm going to put mine back at my waist. Okay, so you done? Oh, okay. So yeah, we measured the hip. So, oh yeah, so we got to measure the hip. All right, let me see. All right, see how you have that extra space under here? You have to keep that in mind when you're getting ready to do a fitted skirt. If you want that fitted skirt to go, turn to the side. If you want that fitted skirt to cup under back here, you still have to curve your center back seam to allow for the transition between the small to the larger to the small. So once you do that, your nice single seam straight skirt will fit and hang a lot better, even though you want it to cup. Because I've seen some that actually come around and they still flare out under here because they haven't taken into consideration the derriere. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go back to me. All right, you have any questions real quick? Nope. She doesn't sew, so she doesn't care. She just knows I make them fit nice. She's going to start sewing because she wants to have clothes made.
Don't poke me.
I'm taking it out with.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's moving on to showing you how to get it to fit yourself. Now, I just showed you how to measure for different body types. You still have to do the exact same thing. When the pattern is falling off of you, okay, off your rear, you're going to make sure that you take into consideration the little area from your waist to your hip. And then you take the drop straight down. Now, for myself, I usually just stand on the tape measure a little bit. That way I know the tape measure is not going to move. So I stand on the tape measure a little bit, get my drop right there. Okay, that's my drop. Then once I stand on the tape measure, now when I bend over, the tape measure not going to get longer because I'm holding it down with my foot. Okay, now I can go and take a look at it at my small of my leg where I really want it to be. And I got the tape measure upside down, so that's not going to work. Alright, let's do that again. Make sure your tape measure is not upside down. Here we go. Taking it off the drop to the waist. Oh, you got to go all the way to the waist. Here we go. Rub it. Go all the way to wherever the area on your derriere sticks out the most. Right there. Okay, now I can check. And where I want it at is right there. Alright, so I got the same number. That's at 25 inches down. And don't forget, check every area that you want to check. Another way to do it is take it from here. Let's go here. Take it from here since it's in the back. And this is where this ruler comes into play. So I'm going to take this ruler. Well, not a ruler. It's a measuring tape. Okay, I'm going to sit this right here where that tape measure is. And this is where I'm going to make sure it's exactly even. I don't want the tape measure to move. So once I get the spot for my buttock, now I can leave the tape measure up against this here, and I go right where I need to go. Okay? That's my 25 inches. So that means everything I make, if I want it to go below my knee, from my waist needs to be 25 inches. Okay, and then the front, that's the back. The front, let's make sure you understand that again. I'm going to do this one more time so you don't have to press rewind. Okay, if I want to do it here, I'm going to go down from my waist in the front. The tape, the yardstick is stiff, so it's not going to move. All right, even when I'm bending. Now in the front, that measurement is 24 inches. Okay, so my front was 24 inches. My rear was 25 inches. That means I have a 1 inch definite protrusion difference from my waist to my hem. In the front, I have 24 inches. So that, how do we transition those two so they're matched? We take the center back seam, because we know the front is going to measure properly.